We are ready for match number 4 in the best of 5 series between Bryan Danielson and Homicide. The next chapter and perhaps the greatest feud in ROH history is about to be written. Lumberjack rules for the first time in ROH history. These two have battled in parking lots. They've battled throughout buildings. They have perhaps the wildest Balls Count Anywhere match ever in Chicago at the 3rd Anniversary Celebration Part 3. ROH officials are tired of the fight around the building. They want these two to settle in the ring. That's why we have the Lumberjacks out there.
An army of men are going to attempt to keep the battle between Danielson and Homicide inside the ring tonight here in Boston, as Homicide with the top wrist lock on Bryan Danielson.
This series actually began in Boston with an I Quit match that actually had to be restarted because these two started fighting all over the building, caused a riot almost. Then, of course, they had the classic I Quit match at Homicide won. From there, the tape fist match, another wild brawl, bloodshed, 3rd Anniversary Celebration Part 1. Homicide winning that one, going up 2-0. Bryan Danielson winning the Falls Count Anywhere match 1 week later, 2-1. Now Bryan Danielson once again in sudden death, as if Homicide wins this one, he wins the series 3-1. If Danielson wins it, it's tied 2-2.
Twisting away on the wrist with the Greco-Roman knuckle lock. Boot to the midsection by Homicide. Pitches Danielson to the floor.
And Danielson pretty much negating the Lumberjacks there, warning them not to touch him.
I wouldn't want to approach Bryan Danielson with a warning like that either.
He's psychotic. Bryan Danielson going over the edge in this feud against Homicide. We've seen a new side of him, a brawling side of him, and it has been absolutely vicious, intense, and brutal. Of course, Homicide, we already knew he was one of the best brawlers in wrestling, one of the most sadistic men going today. All you have to see is his Steve Corino matches from 2003, Bitter Friends, Stiffer Enemies, War of the Wire, both of them legendary. His feud against Samoa Joe.
Cranking away on the headlock on Bryan Danielson as he backs Homicide up against the ropes. Referee looking for a break here. But a boot to the midsection of Homicide, and now Danielson forces him outside.
And Homicide not letting the Lumberjacks get near him either.
Or Julius Smokes with that baseball bat in hand.
Yeah, you definitely have to watch out for that.
The Lumberjacks very intimidated by both of the competitors in the matchup.
I don't blame them. We have some of the students from the 2nd class of the ROH Wrestling School out there as Lumberjacks. This is their very first pro experience. Can you imagine that, fresh out of wrestling school, and you have to throw either Homicide or Danielson back into the ring?
Yeah, your job is to put your hands on Homicide as he warns, don't come anywhere near me.
We have a very intense collar and elbow lockup right now. Both Danielson and Homicide going to the floor. And they're just beating up all the Lumberjacks. Finally, the Lumberjacks overcoming them. Or at least Homicide getting him back into the ring, but Homicide and Danielson dished out a beating to those Lumberjacks out there.
Those ROH Wrestling School students learning the hard way.
We have a mixture of some independent athletes from the New England area as well as the wrestling school students, and they are all taking a beating so far. But notice they are doing their job. Homicide and Danielson are still in the ring.
They lock up once again, collar and elbow. Homicide going after the arm of Danielson, ringing away on it. Over the shoulder of Homicide and cranking away. Into the wrist lock he goes.
You saw a clip before this match began of something that happened earlier tonight. It wasn't something we were going to put on the home video. It was something for the house, as wrestling insiders say. Basically, the Duke of Dorchester, Pete Doherty, a cult favorite from the Boston Garden, a WWF prelim wrestler. He was here as our special guest. And of course, he's from Dorchester. Let's hold on, the action's picking up.
Nice arm drag from Danielson right there, holding onto the arm of Homicide.
Anyway, we couldn't come to Dorchester without having the Duke of Dorchester at the official as a special guest. Homicide and Julius Smokes trying to crash the party, take out the Boston Club favorite, Bryan Danielson making the save. In fact, Homicide, right before Julius Smokes grabbed him, Homicide was about to hit Doherty with the bat, and he said this one's for Gary Sheffield.
What an insult. As Danielson now, hammerlock applied, really wrenching up on that arm, and takes Homicide down to the canvas with it. As the referee checking on Homicide's condition, and Danielson going to work on the opposite arm and twisting away on the wrist, bending those fingers back.
Homicide is the godfather of the Rottweilers, the Don of the Rottweilers. Rocky Romero and Ricky Ray is not here tonight as they have international obligations. Loki's still under suspension. And I don't think ROH officials are in any hurry to lift that suspension on Loki.
Not at all, but we have two of the most dangerous wrestlers on the roster today in this matchup right here. Bryan Danielson, not just technically sound, but he's one of the roughest and toughest competitors you will find.
You notice, though, that Danielson and Homicide both adjusting their style for this lumberjack match. Normally we'd see these two brawling all over the building. Now Danielson is just trying to dismantle Homicide piece by piece with wrestling holds.
Butterfly suplex takes him down for an ear fall. Again, going right back to the arm of the notorious 187. Rolls Homicide down to the canvas, drops the leg down across the arm, keeping it tied up with the legs, putting pressure on it, and forcing the other arm down to the canvas for yet another near fall. Grinding that forearm into the side of the jaw of Homicide. And once again,
it's those little things that separate the good ones from the great ones, from the Hall of Famers, from the all-time greats. Stuff like driving that forearm into the face. But I think that's also the aggression and hatred that Danielson has for Homicide as he lights him up with those kicks.
European uppercut sends Homicide down. Knee driven into the back of Homicide, stretching out those arms, trying to wear him down. Homicide not giving it up. No way.
It'll be interesting to see what happens if either of these men spill to the floor again.
See just how intimidated these lumberjacks are with their mere presence in front of them on the floor.
That's right, this one might end up in the crowd again. Who knows?
Holding onto the arm of Homicide, backed up against the ropes. Danielson sent off. Shoulder tackle right into a cover, but Homicide kicks out at one. Another shoulder tackle by American Dragon. Again, a 1 count. Off the ropes once again. This time Homicide connects with a drop kick.
Danielson to the floor, shoves off that lumberjack. Tope con hilo.
Homicide just crashes Danielson down to the floor, and the lumberjacks separate as both men are down. Get him back in the ring, guys.
And there they go. I guess it's easy to get them back in the ring while they're down injured, but this is what it's all about. You notice it still took about 15 of them to get them in the ring, though.
And it took both of them being incapacitated on the floor to get them to come anywhere near either competitor.
This is where ROH officials want it tonight, though, in the ring. The Lumberjacks doing their job.
Homicide back to his feet, grabbing hold of the ear of Bryan Danielson.
Well, you gotta go where your ear goes, or else it's gonna get ripped off your head, just ask Mick Foley.
He's also got to go where the beard goes. Drives the knee into the head.
Homicide now very methodical. He is looking to dismantle Bryan Danielson as well.
Key matchup in the series right here for Bryan Danielson. Backed into the corner as Homicide going to work on that ear. Chop right across the chest.
Homicide taking his time, following up the lumberjack element, definitely bringing something new to this feud here. As these guys are wrestling a different style under this stipulation. Nice suplex.
Floats right into a cover, but Danielson kicking out at 2.
Gary Moore here telling Homicide it's just 2. Good job from ref Gary Moore, a very quality official.
Some words of advice / encouragement from Julius Smokes on the floor.
Well, you always have to watch out for Julius Smokes, as he has definitely been a decisive factor in this feud, interfering a number of times. Danielson to the floor.
Pitch him back in, and the Lumberjacks a little apprehensive, but they do toss him back underneath the bottom rope and inside the ring.
Danielson unable to fight back. I think Homicide wants them to beat up Danielson too, but that's not their job. Their job is to simply throw the wrestler back into the ring.
Well, at least with wrestling school students and local wrestlers as the Lumberjacks in this matchup, it's not really friends or enemies of either wrestler in this matchup where they would have the objective of going to work on one of them when they are pitched to the floor.
Bryan Danielson's had enough.
European uppercuts for Homicide. All the way into the ropes he goes. Reversal of the whip. Danielson off now. Step over. Belly to belly over the head release suplex. Cover. Only two.
Homicide making eye contact with his manager, Julius Smokes. There's no telling what they have planned. Homicide blaming Bryan Danielson for the fact that he did not defeat Austin Aries for the world title at Best of American Super Juniors. And once again, the Lumberjacks get involved, throwing Danielson into the ring.
And Julius Smokes with that baseball bat, making sure that they do their job.
Danielson kept Julius Smokes from interfering, and actually Smokes did interfere in that world title match. That drew Danielson out of the locker room, who beat Smokes up, took him back to the locker room, so Smokes was no longer in Homicide's corner for the rest of that world title match. That might have taken Homicide out of his game, causing him to be pinned by Austin Aries.
Off the second rope, goes for the elbow, but Danielson rolls out of harm's way. Homicide basically elbow drops the canvas. Buys Danielson a little bit of time to catch his breath.
You know, it was interesting, though, that Homicide said earlier that Danielson now has the attention of all the Rottweilers. Maybe Reyes or Romero or Key is here tonight.
Something that's got to be in the back of his head right now.
Well, Homicide was definitely hinting at something with that statement.
Danielson going to work on the arm of Homicide right over the shoulder. Holding onto the wrist. And yet again. Just cranking away on that arm.
And that also affects the shoulder socket. And those are two pressure points on cattle mutilation.
Big running forearm in the corner.
And that'll just knock you out as Bryan Danielson's feeling it.
Maybe looking for that diving headbutt off the top rope. Danielson all the way up top. And soars. Connects with the diving headbutt.
It was right on the shoulder, Dave. Cover.
No, he gets his shoulder up.
Danielson definitely trying to soften up Homicide for the cattle mutilation, or perhaps a surfboard. This also applies a lot of pressure to the shoulder socket.
He's got the legs tied up. Can he get the arms? Homicide trying to fight it off. Danielson struggling to try to grab hold of the wrist, and he does.
He's got it.
Now rocking, looking to roll Homicide back and extend him. Pressure put on several body parts with this hold.
Including the shoulder. Will Homicide give?
Gary Morer getting right in there to see if Homicide needs to give it up. Shoulders down. Only an ear fall.
So let's see what Danielson follows up with. Another big kick.
And yet again to the midsection of Homicide. Homicide sent in once again. Danielson ducks his head. Neckbreaker from Homicide.
And he holds on.
Looking to follow up.
Nice pile driver. That's more damage to the neck. Cover. 2 count only.
The pile driver can't put the American Dragon away. And Homicide looking to the floor once again.
I think he was yelling something to Smokes.
Going underneath the ring.
Bryan Danielson's in a must-win situation, but at the same time, Homicide's in a must-win situation. I mean, the series still goes on if Homicide loses, but how demoralizing would that be if Homicide's up 2-0 and suddenly it's tied 2-2? And Julius Smokes went for a table.
STF applied by Homicide as Julius Smokes trying to get that table inside the ring.
That is what Homicide was calling for. He's looking to do damage with a table.
STF still cinched in. Danielson hanging in there.
No DQ in this match. So the table is legal. Everything's legal.
Reaches the ropes to break the hold, and Homicide now going to set up that table in the corner. Opens the legs of the table. Propped up in the corner now.
Both men have taken a lot of punishment in this match. Danielson going for the, yes, he is punishing Homicide.
Took too much time setting up that table. Danielson was able to fight up a little bit, but Homicide regains the advantage. Chop in the corner. Puts on the brakes, does Danielson. Boot to the gut of Homicide. Looking to suplex him into the table. Homicide fighting it off.
And, oh, he's looking for a suplex.
Danielson trying to fight it off right here.
Danielson going for a roaring elbow. Homicide catches up. Into the table. Dangerous!
T-bone suplex into the table. And it shatters with the impact of Danielson's body. Homicide pulling him away from the table. Center of the ring. Only two. Gets his shoulder up.
But even more dangerous, Dave, is that table didn't break fully. There was no give. That's Danielson's neck against that hardwood with no give.
And a choke right in the middle of the ring, but anything goes here. No disqualification.
Danielson is taking that neck breaker, the pound driver, and now his neck against that hardwood.
There's a hole in the table where his neck just went right through the wood. Now Homicide looking to climb up top himself.
Danielson scored with the headbutt earlier. Will this be successful for Homicide?
Danielson back to his feet, takes out Homicide's legs. European uppercut. Out to the apron goes Danielson. Meets Homicide on the second rope. What can he be looking for here?
Both men struggling on that top rope. Both men jockeying for position. Both men fighting and
down to the canvas goes Danielson.
Homicide, I think, tried to move his body weight or shift his body weight, and as a result, both men collapsed off the top rope.
Both men paid the price. Danielson back to his feet.
Vicious drop kick. Now Danielson, he's looking to score and get on that top. He is undaunted by what just happened.
Going for whatever he had in mind once again.
What could it be?
A superplex to the floor takes out the Lumberjacks and his opponent.
Both Danielson and Homicide are down. These Lumberjacks, so they got to regain their composure and get these two in the ring.
Trying to work their way back to their feet.
And look at Danielson, he is fighting through the Lumberjacks to get at Homicide.
They're not letting these Lumberjacks stop them from taking their fight around this building. Airplane spin attempt by Danielson.
And that takes out all the Lumberjacks, but Danielson and Homicide are both dizzy.
The airplane spin, a lethal maneuver, and not just for the two wrestlers involved.
Everyone is down on the floor. We have a mass collection of bodies.
Trying to get these two back inside the ring, that's their job. But Homicide and Danielson still brawling on the floor. He's got him up once again. But again with the airplane spin. And Lumberjacks paying the price.
Now Homicide hard into that unforgiving steel barricade. The Lumberjacks finally getting in there. Looking to throw both dizzy men into the ring. Both men have taken a brutal beating in this one.
The remains of that table still inside the ring. They've got Danielson.
Whoa, what's this? One of the Lumberjacks just attacked Danielson.
He's got a Rottweiler shirt on.
Homicide had a plant in the Lumberjacks. That's a member of Homicide's gang.
He's going to work on Danielson. The Lumberjacks trying to fight off Homicide on the floor. I knew the Rottweilers would have something up their sleeve for Danielson.
Julius Smokes and this unknown member of Homicide's gang are taking it to Bryan.
away with that bat.
No DQ. It's Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe. Lethal and Joe making the save for Danielson. No disqualification. It's all good. Lethal taking it to Smokes. Big double team move. It's back to the streets for that individual.
They neutralize him as now Samoa Joe pulls a chair out of the crowd.
It's ole ole time. Julius Smokes is going to be a non-factor because of Samoa Joe. Homicide is irate at him. One of the most intense feuds in ROH is face-to-face, Joe and Homicide.
Homicide was the first man to get other men involved in this matchup. Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal coming to the aid of Bryan Danielson.
Oh, they definitely did the right thing. Homicide is irate, and Joe is just going to beat up Smokes right in front of Homicide. Complete mayhem everywhere. There's Homicide and Joe face to face. They're on the floor. Headbutt by Joe. And it looks like we got a confident lumberjack now.
Samoa Joe will get Homicide back inside that ring.
Mid-air collision by these hated rivals.
Homicide was going for that lariat. Danielson for the roaring forearm. Neither man connecting.
What a great crowd, what a great atmosphere.
Both men back to their feet. European uppercut from Danielson. And a second. Backs Homicide now into the corner. Elevates him to the top turnbuckle.
Last time they were up there, both men spilled to the floor.
Yet another European uppercut. Up to the second rope goes Bryan Danielson. Looking for the superplex. Homicide holding on.
He's going for the superplex into the ring this time. Homicide fighting for his life.
Shots to the ribcage of Danielson, and down he goes.
Can Homicide win this series in Boston? You know he'd love nothing more. There's nothing a New Yorker loves more than beating up Boston, than winning in Boston. Ace Crusher.
Off the second rope. Gets his shoulder off.
What's it gonna take? Homicide has to start thinking about the lariat or cop killer right now. Bryan Danielson has used that regal plex successfully as well as cattle mutilation. Oh, you can see the adrenaline, the intensity rushing through the body of Homicide right now.
And again, a stare down with Samoa Joe out on the floor, acting as a lumberjack in this matchup. Making sure that it stays one-on-one between these two men. Looking for the cop killer.
Oh, the cop killer, it's all over if he hits it. No, Danielson out. Regal plex, but Homicide up. Big lariat, can anybody make the cover though?
Danielson struggling to try to get back to his feet. Homicide pulls himself back up.
The Regal plex was taught to Danielson by William Regal.
Cop killer! No!
Another Regal plex. Oh, just a 2 count.
Looking for cattle mutilation!
This is pressure on the neck with just the 2 Regal plexes. Come